Hello Targ, our friends. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it's time for another Orc Mode workout, and today was max effort lower day. But a quick reminder for those of you who watch these videos, please remember to click like down below. And I'm sorry about the strobe light effect. My dimmer switch is acting up for the main overhead lights in this room because I have 4 of them up there. And it's not as obvious in person, but the way the camera recorded it, it just looks really stroby. And it kind of was hit or miss throughout the workout, and I even opened up the main curtain there so that I could get sunlight in to counteract it. But I did safety bar squats on the box today. And again, this is a below parallel box. This is still a deep box because I'm using a just outside of shoulder width stance, so it's pretty deep. So it's a little harder than when I do these off parallel. And I ended up getting just 451 for a training max today, although I don't think I could have gone much heavier. Like, I can call it a training max, but I feel like another 20-pound jump would have possibly been a miss. And I'm going to mess with safety bar more because I've realized I just need to keep working my shoulder health. The safety bar does everything I need it to do. I'm going to keep working on the things that I know I need to keep my shoulders in the right position. I'm going to keep training my upper back really hard, doing my dead hangs, training my rear delts. I'm doing some specific stuff to help me get under the bar better as far as just certain stretches and dynamic stretches. Just as far as that goes, because I mean I've gotten to where I can get under the bar. It's just really uncomfortable, and there's no point in just beating my shoulders up with it. I can do the work and then test it every now and then and see where it's at. But as long as I'm strong on the safety bar, I'll always be stronger on the straight bar no matter what's going on once I get under it. So not really a big deal. Deadlift, I did 75 pounds of bands, 77 depending on how I measure that setup, and I think I did, just 515 plus the 75, and just called it for the day. It was a good training max. Felt like I strained on it. It was above 90% and called it for the day. And went into all my rep work. I'm taking all my rep work on everything to mostly 10s again now. I rotate through this stuff, but I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I make my best progress overall when I do mostly 10s. I've hit a lot of my best lifts that way. So I went down to 405 because I knew, well, I can do 10s with this on the RDL, and I'll need to increase it from here because these were good work sets. They weren't a failure, but they were good work sets. Now, I used my regular straps on this, but you guys are going to notice me looking down at the strap on the second set and then me changing straps. I ripped the strap. And these are some cheap Harbingers I got for $20 on Amazon. I started ripping the stitching out of the strap. I guess I had it wound up pretty tight, but it didn't slip. This worked. Unlike the my figure 8s, no slippage. Everything was super tight, but I noticed I started ripping the actual stitching, and I heard it making sounds on the last 2 reps. I'm like, oh, I hope this doesn't rip off. So I was like looking at it, and I went to check it afterwards. So I used the really sturdier set of straps I have. I don't like them that much because there's a coating on them that sometimes rubs my calluses raw, but it didn't do it today. And I guess because it's only 405 on there, just wasn't enough weight to cause that problem. I've noticed it does that when I get above 500 pounds for work sets on the deadlift. I've noticed it does it when I get to 600 plus on any pull. But maybe my hands are tougher from all the dead hangs. So I used it for the last set, and it went a lot better. And I'm almost thinking you guys are going to hear me say this is going to be, wow, he said this. I think I need to cut Good Mornings out for a while. I think I need to cut them out. I pulled a lat on my second set of Good Mornings, and I'm not sure if it's a lat or if it's a lower thoracic erector up in my mid-back, but it's pretty stiff still. So it cramped up. It's not really, I don't think it's a true pull. It's just really crampy. It cramped up on me pretty hard in the middle of the second set, and for rep work. So I think I just need to, again, just use the safety bar for all my squatting stuff. I'll get the benefits of these safety bar Good Mornings. I'll do RDLs, and to make sure my hamstrings get hit, I'll just hammer the glute ham raises again. Right? I didn't do them today because I did some Good Mornings, and it's like, that was enough hamstring work. I'm still working it on the reverse hypers and things. So again, first time I've tried to do 10s on these split squats. Getting my foot position helped. I've started learning it's all about my angles of my foot relative to where I'm at on the bench. Notice I'm facing not exactly 90 degrees from the bench. That's how I keep my balance better. Slight angle. Not losing my balance. Beautiful. With that crazy strobe light going. I can't believe it looks like that on camera. It is so barely noticeable. It's barely noticeable when you're doing it, but the way the camera frames go, it just looks like a total strobe effect. What do you do about it? I don't know. And, it's just that silly dimmer switch. And it acts up. A lot of times when people see me, that I drop a heavy weight and the lights flicker, it's that dimmer switch on the wall. Because it's right there it's the one directly by the tree. You can see it by all my plate tree. But yeah, I dropped the weight down on these just a little bit. Took 15 pounds off. So we dropped down to 151. Now people go, those are 45. So it's like, yeah, but that's a 61-pound bar. So 151, and I got 10s on both legs. Interestingly enough, the right leg felt harder, even though my left should be weaker. The final reps on the right one felt harder, particularly the first set. And still, though, I got a hell of a quad pump from it. Got a lot of quad pump from it, and that's what I'm going to do. Like, I'm going to really push my quad hypertrophy. And I guess I need to push hamstrings pretty hard too, but mainly it's going to be, we're going to maximize quad, glute, adductor, and hamstring hypertrophy. That's what I need to do. And everything else is just going to be max and speed work. That's going to be my lower body focus. Look, all my extra back work can come from all the back work I'm doing. I'm pushing pull-ups and chin-ups hard. I'm doing snatch grip rows. I'm actually going to throw snatch grip high pulls back in, right? And just hit all 4 of those, all my upper days. Now, keeping in mind, I'm still cutting. I'm actually down to 219 now, for those curious. So from 241, I'm down to 219. Another 19 to go. The goal is 200, right? And then I can bulk and cut from 200 to 210 back and forth. I want to stay inside that weight range. I think that's going to be my optimal. So, the training isn't always going to be perfect. My strength's not always going to be perfect. I do need to be aware that certain muscles get pulled a little easier when you're cutting. You have to be careful. To be very, very careful. And I'm noticing that the Good Mornings really are problematic for my mid-back. And it's because the safety bar, you guys watch with the safety bar, you're like, wow, it looks really weird from the side. And it's because it makes it so back dominant that, again, trying to keep the weight mid-foot, you end up just rolling the back. And it doesn't get the angle you think it would. But it just destroys your back. And I felt like on these today, this first set, I couldn't get my normal range of motion that I normally get. And it's funny, I finally started to do a side view on a day when I can't get the range of motion you guys normally see me even get from the front view. I just couldn't quite get there today. It felt off. And I think it's because my mid back there, whatever muscle that is, again, I still can't tell if it's lower lat or one of the erectors in the middle of the back. And that was probably, that's what was going on. It was probably warning me because I could not get the range of motion. So that is not really a complete range of motion. Even for me, like my normal Good Mornings are a little deeper than that. But as I was doing them, I think I got to about rep 5 here, and I just felt it cramp, like a spasm. Didn't feel like a pull. It's just a spasm and a cramp, and it's cramping a little bit. Right? So, again, put a massager on it a little bit, reach back there with it. But I stopped at that point. I'm like, okay, I can't do these. So I put a massager on it for about 10 minutes, came back and did my step ups. Now these I decided, look, it's too hard to count alternating. It really throws me off. I'm just going to do them one leg at a time. We'll just count to 10 with each leg and get my 10 in on each leg. It's fine. This is the same way I alternated last time. Technically, this should be harder. So we're good here. And again, I'll try to slowly work this up. So again, these 2 quad exercises, I will try to progressively overload them from here with the 10s. And the thing is, they feel different. You might look at these and say, well, they seem like the same exercise. They seem to burn the quad in a different area. And I think it's because, again, this one, you have no eccentric to start. You're just starting from a deep position. And I feel that lower quad more, right? The vastus medialis and the vastus lateralis, they really light up on this one a little bit more. Whereas on the other one, because again, we start with an eccentric and come down, and then we're stretching the rectus femoris on the other leg while we're doing it, I feel like I feel a little more rectus femoris. So I feel a little more upper quad on that, and I feel a little more lower quad on the step up, right? And then, of course, they have different ratios of adductor and glute involved. And I always hear people say, oh, these single leg things, they work hamstrings. They don't work hamstrings. If you feel your hamstrings on these movements, you have weak hamstrings. And what people might think is their hamstring, they're feeling their adductor. right? They're feeling their adductor and they're thinking it's their upper hamstring. It's not. Hamstrings don't get worked on these, either one of these. And I have a friend who insists that they get they get a pump in their hamstrings doing it. I'm like, well, you probably have really weak hamstrings. But again, these are going to be my quad exercises. I'm going to use these for volume, bring those quads up, because I feel like at this point that's what my squat needs. I feel like my quads have regressed while I've been cutting, right? So we need to reverse that. We need to reverse that. And so again, 3 sets of 10 on both of these. Found kind of baselines for what I can get away with 10 reps. And I'm keeping records of all of my supplemental lifts now, of what my 10 rep maxes are, of what I've been able to do so far. And then I always know if I can progress or not, because we'll try to micro load all of them up. And that's going to include, I'm going to start doing floor presses again this week. So again, keeping most of the volume, other than a few exceptions, around 10. Pull-ups and chin-ups, I want to build to 10 with the weights, some of the weights I'm currently using. I don't want to reduce the weight. But I think I can get to 10s at the rate I'm going in a reasonable time frame, and then try to increase them from there. But again, it's going to be 10s, 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 other than like my reverse hyper, right? And I'm doing a lot more ab work. I've increased my ab work on my off days, and actually I'm going to try to do abs most days. I want to go ahead and make sure I get 20 sets of direct ab work every week. Again, I'm losing body fat. I'm losing potential support all through my core, because even body fat can give that. I need to replace some of that with additional muscle. So I need to get my abs bigger and stronger. All right, glute bridges, I went ahead and went with 10s again also. This is normally a weight I've handled for 10s in the past, last time I tried. So I decided to do it again. And I always run into a foot position. It's really hard to get my feet far enough back to do these optimally early on. So I always feel like I'm readjusting. And then I feel like I can get a better range of motion. Like I find that unless I get my feet really close to my glutes, it is hard for me to get a good range of motion. Always is. So again, I end up having to readjust in the middle of the set. And for some reason, and again, maybe if I practice this and do these twice a week now, which I think I'm going to do. Because again, I noticed before there's a big carryover between my glute bridge and my conventional deadlift. I see a direct carryover. So I need to push these hard again, right? Push these hard, you can get that deadlift up, and then again worry about my quads and hamstrings to get stronger off the floor, because it seems to be I'm slowest below the knee, and depending upon where that is, it can be quad, it can be hamstring, depending upon where you slow specifically. Now it looks more like hamstring for me when I start looking at where even the last couple pulls slowed, but again, I can push my glute ham raises hard. I can get some novel training response on them by running the bands for a while instead of weights. But again, with this, we did 525 for 3 sets of 10, and we'll work this up. All right, we'll work it up. So all these lifts we need to work up, right? The RDLs at 405 for 10. That's good, but we can bring that up. Same thing with this. Same thing with the single leg exercises, right? We just overload them from here. Again, cutting or not, we still try to do that. And I'm doing the same thing with the upper body. Again, particularly stuff like my triceps, which need a ton of work. Triceps are really limiting my upper body strength right now. And I've had them bigger and stronger a year ago than they are right now. I can see videos, I can see the lifts, I can see what I JM press, what I close grip benched. Triceps have to come back up. Cutting or not, have to do it. And then we finish off with the reverse hypers, and this is my normal. I do 3 sets of 25 with 500 pounds. I try to always get, if I can get more reps on the last set. Sometimes I'm struggling to get to 25. But if I can pick up another couple reps, I try to do it on the last set, which I did. And again, 500 is a good number to work with. I'm not going to try to progress much on this for now. I'm just going to work with it. I'm just there to finish off, get the extra work through those muscles, get that work on the low back, that restoration effect. And I'm not going to try to get stronger on this for a while, because again, I'm already moving a lot of weight. And again, the last set is pretty well to failure, to where everything is just screaming, and I can't do another rep. So, you know, people can talk about momentum and all they want on these movements, but I'm taking them to the limit, then we're taking them to the limit. And I'm still using pretty much close to the heaviest weight I can handle for these reps. But again, it's great to finish off. It's great for the low back, puts that traction on it. And because I could definitely tell that cramp in my back is higher than any of the muscles working this, because I didn't feel it at all on this. So it's definitely higher than the low back. It's not in the low back at all. It's above my rib, the base of my rib cage. So again, it feels like a lower lat insertion. So I'm going to try to keep it massaged and everything today, so that it doesn't impact my pull-ups or chin-ups tomorrow, because I need those to be strong. They're a big deal for me right now. But overall, the workout was what it was. Happy with most of the supplemental work today. Not happy about the way the Good Mornings went. And again, probably going to have to just take them out for a bit. So I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.